This man is truly a man who lives his values, chesed, tzedakah, his generosity of spirit, his kindness. Your overly generous, exaggerating words about me. I love you and I'm grateful for you. And thank you for being my friend. Thank you for being my friend. I'm blessed by other friends. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. It's making me stand taller. I'm blessed also by two other dear friends, Rabbi Margaretten and Rabbi Weiss, who have been, you want to talk about people that come into your life and are impact players. These two men have come into my life and made me not just a better senator, but made me a better man. And the power of Judaism is something that I have been studying for decades. I'm the only big black goy in America that studies Torah every Friday. Every Friday. One of the Rebbe Shliachs in the faraway land of Philadelphia. And I get on a Zoom call with him every Friday to study. And if there's anything I love is Jews who live their values. There was a theologian from my faith that said, everywhere you go, preach the gospel, but only sometimes use words. Judaism is this faith, of the Abrahamic traditions. Unlike Christianity or Islam, Judaism is not running around trying to convert people. You have to, in fact, deny somebody 3 times if they try. Judaism's goal is to make this world a more perfect place for the Messianic era to come. It's this ideal that God's vision of humanity is one where we all come together. During the high holidays, the song you all know, Ki beiti beit tefillah l'chol ha'amim, may my house be a house of prayer for all nations. We are a one people. We have one common cause. There are all these forces that try to divide us, but we are all created in God's image, and we are all here to heal. One of my favorite experiences of my life was my first time to Israel when I was 24 years old. I had a beautiful afro. I hope you can imagine that. But I went there and immediately found a connection with the country. Years later, when I was mayor of the city of Newark, I went back with my parents because I wanted to show them the beauty of this incredible land. And I was at that time in danger. I had death threats. I was the mayor of New Jersey's largest city. But knowing that I was going to Israel, I said to my security detail, you guys stay here, I'll be okay. And my friend said, I will arrange it so the people showing you around, they're going to be former special forces men. And so I land in Israel and have these 2 very large, intimidating former soldiers. And we put my parents to bed at the King David Hotel. And then they say to me, we will go for a ride. And I look at them and I go, okay. And next thing you know, we're driving and then we go off into the desert. My cell phone service goes out. And now I'm beginning to regret that I didn't bring my security detail with me. I'm like, is this what's going to happen to me? Is this what they do to the Goyim when they get them over here? I don't know. And I'm worrying, I'm stressed. And then we get to a rise in the desert and I see all the lights of Jerusalem. And we get out and they say that they want to get to know, the mayor of New Jersey. And I said, I'm just the mayor of Newark, but okay. We lit a campfire and then they started telling me what was before me. And as they were describing the whole area, they pointed to Mount Nebo. And I got chills because the 2 things I knew right then, I know a story about Mount Nebo and I know the Torah portion for the week, the Parsha for the week. And I had them pull out their iPad and the Torah. And on the iPad, I played one of the greatest speeches in all of modern America, a speech by Martin Luther King. It happened to be his last speech, where he talks metaphorically about Mount Nebo. He goes, I have been to the mountaintop, and I have looked over, and I have seen the promised land. I may not get to the promised land, but we as a people will make it to the promised land. And he ends the speech by saying he has no fear. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. And then I told these two Israeli men before me that that night he went home and went to bed at the Lorraine Motel. The next morning he would wake up and be assassinated. Now, if we all were in Tennessee right now at the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, and you went to the site where Martin Luther King was killed, if you looked over the balcony, you would see on a block of stone words written from the Torah. Imagine this Christian pastor where he was murdered, they decided to put words from the Torah right there to mark that spot. And here is what it says on the Torah, the words of Joseph, Joseph's brothers, who saw Joseph, plotted to kill him, to throw him into the well. It says right there where Martin Luther King was killed, it says, "Behold, here cometh the dreamer. Let us slay him and see what becomes of his dream." I think we're all gathered here together in that spirit. What will become of the dream? The dream of America. The dream of humanity. The dream of our shared spirituality. What will become of the dream? You cannot have a dream when you divide one against another. The dream is about unity. You cannot have the dream when the dreams of a family are not realized. I love TZEDEK because you all are fighting for the dream. Not just the dreams of Jews or Christians, not just the dreams of humanity, but to me, the unfulfilled dream of America, that this should be the promised land too, a land where the dreams, the highest aspirations of humanity can be achieved. And so I am proud of the work you mentioned that we have done to bring justice, the Micah mandate, oh, what, O Lord, do your people, you want from your people to love God, to do justice, to love kindness. But this issue in America that we don't talk about enough, the simple dream of having children, of being fruitful and multiplying, this dream is not fulfilled. It is an issue for families of all backgrounds and all faiths that run into the challenge of having children. We see it from the Torah as well, from Rachel to Sarah, this yearning, this call to have children. We know that this dream is one that we can, within our grasp, do something to achieve. And so when TZEDEK came to me, when your leaders came to me and said, hey, can we work together to build the kind of coalitions necessary to make our healthcare system actually work for families that have the greatest dream to be fruitful and multiply, I was so excited to join in partnership here. And this is my excitement. My excitement is that we together can actually get legislation passed so that private insurance companies will cover for all families, not just the wealthy, but for all American families, will cover the medical costs necessary so that everyone could have access to fertility treatment. There's an idea in Judaism, when the birth of a child, the hope of the world is renewed. Well, we are at a point in American history where we need more hope, where our demographics are showing that our birth rates are going down, when the promise of a family with a child is the very promise of America. It's the very American dream. And so I have a lot of faith. I have a lot of hope that this organization can be part of the ignition point. In fact, today, the fact that you're going to hear not just from Democrats, but from some of my dear partners, like Senator Marshall, who he and I are working together right now on legislation that we hope to introduce with many partners to achieve this very thing. This organization cannot just talk about doing good or pray about doing good. I believe, B'ezrat Hashem, we will actually do good, to do justice and make this happen. I feel like that's a... Thank you. Thank you, yes. So I will end with this, because I have many aspirations as a young leader, and one of them is that the senior senator of Connecticut should have great nachas when he looks upon his younger colleague. I want him to have pride in me, because he has been one of these champions in the Senate for justice for a very long time. I am a mentee of his. I have learned from him. If you look at the Judiciary Committee, he is up on the dais. I am down on the ground. He is on Mount Rushmore. I am working in the concession stand. But I want to end with this simple ideal. We have to understand that we have to work. We can't assume anything. There's a great young man, a great hero from history, who when he was a young man, his name is Frederick Douglass, he was trying to escape bondage. The story, in fact, of the Israelites escaping became a seminal part of his speeches he used to give all around the world. And he talked about the fact that he prayed for years for his freedom, and he was still a slave. It wasn't until he began to pray with his hands and pray with his feet that he found his freedom. I look forward to doing the work with you to heal. I look forward to doing the work with you to bring together bipartisan coalitions. I look forward to doing the work with you to help all of America have a bigger moral imagination, more courageous empathy to see that every family should have the dream of children. I believe that through our collective work, we will have victory. I believe that through our collective work, we will fulfill the promise by God that we will be a nation where everyone can have children who wants them. Thank you very much.